What's good, you guys? Back at it again with another episode with me, Irami, and welcome to my studios, and welcome to another one of Up Close and Personal with me. So yesterday was my first video. Well, two things. It was my first video coming back. Hooray! But it was also kind of might have been my most controversial video that I made um in a long time since that episode that I made about talking about the Dave Chappelle situation back in season one of Late Night Excursions. And since I made, that comeback video, and I guess technically that's also episode one of this new series I'm doing, Up Close and Personal with me, I had some time to think about it. And honestly, episode one, which was yesterday, I didn't really like it personally. I felt like I wasn't as clear as I could have been. I felt like I wasn't as concise as I could have been. Um, obviously, I wasn't relaxed. I was laying on my bed when I made the video or was doing it live, and it was just, it wasn't. I felt like it wasn't as honest as I could have been. I was just trying to kind of be around the bush, trying to say as much words as I can, and just make myself sound good. But honestly, it made me sound to myself incompetent almost. So honestly, I don't like my own video. That was a horrible comeback, and it was also talking about something that was controversial. I'm still gonna talk about it. I don't care. I'm still gonna talk about it. That's that's what this episode about. It's part two of this whole censorship situation. Um, but I'm gonna be more real this time. I'm not gonna talk fast. I'm not gonna stutter. I'm not gonna try to, you know, try to find ways to kind of walk on eggshells. I'm just gonna say. So here we are. So to sum up what I said yesterday, last episode, was obviously I do not agree with this type of censorship that had been plagued on the likes of Andrew Tate or AT, if you will, if I'm not allowed to say his name, simply on the idea that because you do not like what someone says, you simply silence him. That does not mean I agree with the guy. I don't know if you heard my last episode or if you was able to even understand what I was saying in my last episode. I said clearly, I don't like the guy. A lot of the majority of the things that he do, the things that he say, his lifestyle in general, I don't fall in line with that. I don't agree with that. But just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean shun him from the world, silence him. Because, and this is actually going to segue to this reaction that I'm going to do from a video by Alba and Preach. First of all, shout out to Alba and Preach. Go check out their YouTube videos. Subscribe, like, comment, do all you need to do. This is their video. So, Alba and Preach, you out there listening for some odd reason. I'm not trying to take your stuff. I'm only reacting to this because what Alvin Preach said in this video is the same thing that I was pretty much trying to come across in my own video in episode 1 yesterday. Is that banning someone doesn't end the issue. It doesn't solve the issue when it comes to the underlying issue men are facing, or what both men and women are facing in this society. Both sides, there's such a discrepancy. You feel me? Oh, shout out to the first viewer. It doesn't solve anything to silence somebody just because you may not like what they say or because you assume who they are. It doesn't solve anything because there's still an issue. It's still an issue. And a lot of arguments against what I'm saying is kind of piss poor, honestly. Like, well, he was a misogynist. Well, he was this and that, and this. Okay, well, that's a claim. That's an accusation, and we need to bump heads to heads with. That's a claim. So what do you do with claims? You have to argue. You have to debate. You have to bring your evidence forward, and they bring their evidence forward on the table, and we try to see whose evidence is more accurate. We don't just ban and shun, and on top of that, dance and praise, because that they've been fallen. And like I said, that's kind of petty. That's kind of cultish. The idea of because they do not agree to what I believe, and they are trying to dismantle the agenda that I'm trying to create, then that means I'm going to silence them and shun them, take them down, deplatform them, just because they're ruining the society I'm trying to propagate. That sounds like a cult. It really do. So I'm not going to speak too much more about it because I don't want to end up falling back into what I did in episode 1. So I'm gonna let Album Preach kind of take us away with this. I'm gonna just commentate as we go along. Oh, by the way, feel free to comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. You don't have to, but I appreciate you do. Peace and love. Let's go into this video. Again, I do not own this video. This is Album Preach. I'm just reacting, commenting on it. Shout out to Album Preach. I like these guys. Let's go.
Today's topic, Andrew Tate's banned from Facebook and Instagram. He's a genuine threat to young men. He has drawn criticism from online comments, particularly from UK advocacy group Hope Not Hate, which welcomed the most recent ban. We welcomes Meta's shift action to remove Andrew Tate, and we putting pressure on TikTok to follow this example. They must act now to prevent further spread of these extremist views. He's banned from Instagram, Facebook, and very likely he's going to be banned from other places. So first off, I don't think this ban matters at all. I don't think it matters at all because I think their attempt is to like stop this person who in their eyes is like spreading misogyny. Even if that's how you view him and that's what you think he's doing, you haven't stopped whatever the movement.
And that's we only 42 seconds in, and that's basically the point I was making last episode of of my video was of course at the end of the day, um banning AT doesn't really affect me, and it's not going to affect them, and it's not going to affect nobody. It's not it's probably not even going to affect AT himself. But to ban him thinking that you solved the problem, you solved an issue, you made the world a little bit more safer, it's ignorant and it's silly. And Abba preached. They just said they said it for me, and I'm just that's basically what I was trying to say last episode. Let's
He's
continue.
coming from is he's just a figurehead, just a face.
Hmm.
The issues between men and women, this gender related war that exists in our society still goes on. There's going to
Exactly, exactly. It, it didn't do anything but continuing the issues that we're facing. That's all it did. That's all it did. And it didn't do anything but continue that cycle of in women's issues and men's issues, and they do nothing, absolutely nothing at all. You know, and that's the point that a lot of people are making. Like some of these people, like Hassan Abi or H3H3, Ethan Klein, they saying that good riddance. We took him away. Now the world is a little more safer. Safer from what? Continue. They'll take my point.
reason why it doesn't matter is that he doesn't even spread his own videos. He
True.
doesn't have a YouTube channel where he's
That's true, actually. Like majority, if not all of the videos that you were seeing circulating on TikTok and YouTube about AT and the whole entire movement that he was part of, that wasn't even he. That wasn't even himself doing that. That was his followers that was pushing that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I said earlier. This ban, the ban itself is not probably it's probably not going to affect AT. So what who is it really what is the banning really solving or really helping for who? Is it helping me? No. Is it helping them? No. Is it is it doing any damage to AT himself? No. Let's get into it.
spreading all this stuff. He doesn't have a TikTok channel where he's spreading stuff. It's random people who are spreading this stuff.
Who's posting this thing?
They're posting it. They're taking clips. They're posting it everywhere. They're getting interviews. Like, unless you ban all mention of this man, it is impossible to stop it.
That'd be crazy they did that. That would be crazy. Like you completely and my thing is if they do that, then does that make Adolf, you finish the sentence, the leader of the Germany, the government that controlled Germany in World War II. I'm not gonna say the name because YouTube is crazy about that, but you know what I'm talking about. Does that make Andrew Tate more dangerous than or more censored than that guy? Because you can still find that guy at least in documentary form or commentary form all over internet platforms. But if you completely silence him, like words, like it gets to the point where even the name Andrew is banned. Oh, I feel bad for everyone who just so happened to have the name Andrew. Just, oh, your name is Andrew. Take him away. You never be seeing her from again. Oop, sorry. Should blame your mom for naming you.
But the minute
So
that
they're going to be in every comment section, reposting it on every channel, going commentate W. Guess what? You can't stop it unless you ban all mention of it beyond how dislikable he is. All right, let's take ourselves out of we hate this dude, okay, or you hate this dude, or whoever hates this dude. I don't care. Think about what matters in this, which is all the young folks who gravitated towards his message. Were they all somebody who were put under a spell, or were there a lot of societal issues that existed that created the perfect melting pot for someone like this to come to prominence?
Me personally, it was kind of a combination of both. It was people with issues that was already fermenting, already been existing long before the internet itself. have always existed. And we when it comes to people with issues, when it comes to people with who are lost and need solutions to their problems, whatever it may be, they're gonna desperately look for answers by any means necessary. If somebody off the street can say something, if somebody from the street who is shady and looks shady as hell, but they're saying the right things that you want to hear, people will be enticed to follow them. And that goes back to the idea that At, he was just the head, he was just a figure. You cut the head off, another head's gonna grow, and someone else is gonna take his place, perhaps maybe worse than him. So, it's a combination of both. People who was already having, sorry, people who's already having issues, and then you had people who, on top of that, when they heard him saying all the things that they needed to hear, that they wanted to hear, they gravitated towards that. Maybe it was some brainwashing, but it was a mixture of everything. Everything is a contribution of it all. That's how I look at it.
Whether you like it or not, be it fresh and fit, any of these red pill dudes, whatever you want to choose, what is it that makes people get drawn to them? And this is what I've been saying for a long time. When I did the other video, I'm like, listen, red pill ain't for me, but I understand why it's necessary.
Yeah.
Right? You can hate these movements, you can be against them, but until you deal with the underlying.
Oh, I will make another video exclusively talking about the red pill movement, probably in the next episode. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to derail because the topic today is censorship. So I'm gonna kind of just keep towards that, but it does kind of feed into the idea of what what red pill movement is. Um, so that itself is an interesting thing to talk about itself. That a lot of people either don't know or don't want to know or don't talk about or don't even want to talk about. So yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about that.
Societal problems that lead to these movements. Everything else is just putting a band-aid on an infected wound.
Exactly. His analogy made so much sense. Putting a band-aid on a tumor, a growing tumor becoming a cancer, an issue, a problem. If you know, let's say the whole body is society, and then you have relationship issues, men issues, women issues, all types of family issues. That itself is the tumor, and thinking that by removing, by labeling At as the tumor, so you removed it and really cured it. It's still gonna another tumor is gonna pop up, and putting a band-aid over it is not gonna do anything. It's gonna keep growing and growing till all society is affected. Which, at least on the internet and of course out in public, you see that right now. That was the point I was making last episode. It doesn't solve anything. Golly, bro.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You're not coming to the concerns of any of these young men, which, whether you like it or not, Andrew Tate spoke to some degree. Well, why can't they choose a better? There are no better role models. I don't know how many times I've said I get so sick and tired of fucking women just coming out of the woodwork to be like, well, they're better. What role models? Go ahead.
I haven't seen no role models. I think the only role model that I knew of was my own grandfather. Maybe people at home. But the thing is, not everyone has those type of people. Not everyone have those type of role models. Those true men. Those male figure role models, positive male figure role models. Um, at their front door or in their rooms, like their parents or their friends or maybe their teachers. Not everybody has that. So people go elsewhere, gravitate towards elsewhere. And that's probably another reason why I never really fell truly deep into the idea of red pill movement, was because, thank God, luckily for me, I had strong positive male, positive male figures, role models that kind of helped guided me. I had positive, great women in my life who helped guided me to where I know the difference between the goods and the bads. Unfortunately, not everyone has that. Not everyone has that, unfortunately. That's why people look towards elsewhere. They look for that stranger on the street, or they look for that person on the internet, because they can't get it anywhere else. unless you go search out and recruit somebody to be that spokesperson. But obviously they don't. They don't.
Point them out. Good luck. I'll wait. Because I've had people send me, and you know what? None of them have any advice that are useful on dating. Most of them have terrible advice, if any. Okay, and they have little to no experience, so I don't really care to hear from them. So I want y'all to peep the whole formula.
This is Blankos, the free-to-play multiplayer game where you can unlock, earn, and
money.
We didn't talk about what men were dealing with for a long time. It led to this. Now, someone starts talking about it, you're like, don't speak about it. So now we're going back to the very point. They're like, don't plat for this person. Don't speak with them. I was like, well, people want these issues addressed. No, get somebody else. There's better role models.
True. Don't speak about it, but then let's speak about it. You want to discuss about issues with men or issues with women or just issues with people in general, the relationship between men and women, the relationship in general in society. You want to discuss it, but then you don't want to discuss it. You want to discuss it as long as it is within the parameters of your aim, your goal, your agenda, your I dare I say propaganda. As long as it fits within whatever you're trying to promote, then yes, it's cool. But people cannot be held in a box within a box. You feel me? People gotta branch out. People gotta move out. I'm not gonna, like, I'm sorry if this comes off in the wrong way, but I can't, as a man, it wouldn't make sense for me to have a discussion about men's issues or women's issues or the issues idea as a relationship, especially as a black man, and then we turn around and we're gonna sit and talk about the issues going on with the LGBTQ community. I understand that that's an issue in itself and that needs to be discussed. But I feel like I'm not the right candidate. It wouldn't help me because I'm not a part of that community. I'm not a part of that category. So even if what I say may have an effect or may add some benefit, it wouldn't do much for me in my benefit because I have my needs, I have my preferences, I have my wants. And so and that's the whole thing that kind of gets me. I can only speak and relate and understand through the eyes of my own as a man, as a black man, as a religious black man, and I can go on, so forth, So everyone is different and unique. We all not the same. So to try to put us all in one box and to talk about and discuss everything, it just wouldn't make sense. That was my whole beef I had 2 years ago with the idea of like the Black Lives Matter movement and the LGBTQ movement, and they were trying to join forces, unite, and try to mix it all into one big thing. And I was appalled because, of course, and let's be honest, civil rights and rights for black people cannot equate to what the LGBTQ is going through. You feel me? It doesn't. Just like the things that I go through as a man cannot relate with a woman. Same, and that's vice versa. What women go through, I will never be able to understand or relate or try to connect with as a man. All I can do is understand and learn from it and move through life complementing it. But to try to make it all the same, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. It doesn't work at all. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. Let's continue.
Okay, so let me ask you, where are all these positive role models that y'all been encouraging this entire time? Where are they?
I don't see them.
When have they rose to prominence? Why aren't they going viral?
Put their name in the chat.
If there's so many good ones out there, and you guys encourage them and support them, and then they should be pushed up in these algorithms, how come it's never happened? Can anyone tell me? There's so many positive ones.
Don't look at me.
How come in the last 30 years of my fucking life, I've not seen a single one of these motherfuckers ever promoted on national television or
That's facts. That's facts. It's all hypocrisy. It's all fake. It's all fake. And this is nothing against Derek Jackson. Well, I don't know who he is, to be honest with you. But this is the idea that, we all make mistakes, we all have issues, we all need to solve them. But don't try to act like you don't have problem issues and try to teach other people. It won't work. like it's in the same vein as, like, I don't know, somebody who's racist act like they're not a racist so they can try to help guide black people or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something. I don't know. It does make sense, and this is a good example of what Alvin Preach is trying to say.
anywhere else? How come no young men have ever gravitated towards these people? Can anybody tell me? I'll wait. Since there's so many, I'll wait. Tell me where these motherfuckers are at.
Oh, we got one.
Who?
Bill Cosby.
Look, all right. Move on. We ain't gonna talk about that.
So I ask you, right? And this is the more important question, because get past the ban. The ban is just feel good bullshit. Okay, this doesn't change anything.
Basically, yeah.
How do
For those that did not like or agree with AT, who hated AT, who just absolutely hated them, they're having a block party out on the street. Streamers and balloons and everything and all that. But that doesn't solve the critical issue of what we're dealing with in this society. It doesn't. And unless you have a good alternative, a good solution, then nothing's not going to do good. And I'm not insinuating that AT himself knew the answers. His answers only worked for himself. It didn't work for me, of course. It didn't work for them. Of course. I don't agree with the man. These guys don't really agree with the man. But the point is, banning someone because of things they say about a particular issue or topic doesn't solve the issue of the topic. It doesn't. And that's the point we're making. That's the point we're making. And what I'm saying and what they're saying should not in any way allude or imply that, oh, we're AT fans. No, we're not. No, we're not. It's just the idea of censorship and the idea that censoring equals solving. Censoring equals curing society. I know many governments in the past that have done that. Adolf regime, Stalin regime, the list goes on. The list goes on. Because you can censor them, but you won't stop people's hunger for answers.
you get to the real problems, which are the issues that men are facing that they feel are not being talked about? That's what I want to know.
Like, who puts himself in the... It's boys. They'll be fine. It's funny. It's really funny that they want men to talk. They want men to, like, to say what they got to say. And the minute we do, it's like, we hate. We this and that and the third.
Facts. They want us to speak about it because they know we have issues. So it's kind of like that thing of, it's kind of like, oh, I see that you're upset. I see you have issues, so let's talk about it. But the moment we talk about it, oh, that's nothing serious. You get over it. That's just boy stuff. Y'all move over it. But these are issues that we're going through. These are issues we're going through. So then you end up belittling the issue, making it not as serious that it really is. And that's kind of unfair. And that really is unfair. It really is. It makes no sense at all.
We can't have both, people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can't have both.
Today's video is brought to you by Raycon.
We have the Raycon earbuds. They're new
I'm gonna
earbuds.
skip this, you guys. But hop over to their channel, get to their Raycons, get their deal. I don't own this video; it's not mine. So be sure you hop over to the video, watch their video, and hop on to their sponsors. Give these guys the coin that they deserve. Skip.
Have men that express themselves on the trouble that they got, and tell them to shut the fuck up because they ain't real problems and it's not as bad as whatever.
That is that's trash mentality, and that's the point I'm talking about. Belittling the issues that people are facing and saying that they're not really important. Like, oh, that's not important. Y'all get over it. That's not real issues. It may not be to you, but there's men, there's boys, there's young men out here, boys, children, teenagers, who half the time we stay silent. Why do we stay silent on this? Why do a lot of people don't want to talk about this, but I'm gonna talk about it. There is a fair amount of cases, statistics, and reports of men being R word, um, assaulted, with the S. I hope you can read the lines. Going through the same horrific issues that women that go through. We go through them too. But understand, why isn't there not a big enough why is there not enough voices out there for us? You feel me? That's kind of it reminds me of Dave Chappelle when he made that joke in one of his old stand-ups when he talked about, men get our word too. But half the time, most of the time, a lot of men would rather keep that to themselves and take it to the graves, because it's just not because society, to this very day, I know back then, and that has carried on to this very day, the idea that how can a man get, you too manly, you too strong. And it's even worse if a man gets our word by a woman. That's even more, um you know hush hush. It was funny, but it was true. Sorry. Even though it was funny, what Dave Chappelle said, what he said was also was very true. And Johnny Depp, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case was, to me and for a lot of men, that, like, it was like our chance. It was like our only chance to speak out. That's why so many people were supporting Johnny Depp, and I was too, because what he was going through is what a lot of men go through too. But everybody's hush hush about it. They don't want to talk about it because they know. And even Amber Heard herself said it. If you was following the court case and you hearing the videos and the audio, Amber Heard in the audio recording was saying that, I remember saying to Johnny Depp, "Go on, Johnny Depp, go tell the world, go tell the world that I, as a man, am a victim of domestic abuse." She said that for a reason, because she knew that the idea of a man being a victim of domestic abuse, or a man being a victim of the R word, or a man being a victim of assault with the S, or even just assault in general by a woman, especially, is not, sadly, it's not seen as believable, and it's kind of far fetched. And that's a society that, unfortunately, we have created, and is still being perpetuated to this day, even by people who supposed to be progressive and liberal and supposed to be for us all. That's some of the issues we're still facing with. So it's the backhanded compliment, it's the hypocrisy, the idea that because I'm a man, I shouldn't be going through that. Or if I just toughen out and you'll be okay. And and that's one of the reasons why you wonder why suicide rates is so dramatically high in men. Because we would rather die because we know that we would, like it just, just think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute. But no one else want to talk about that. Golly, man.
Can't have both. You want to do that, but you can't have both. Like which is it? You always want men to talk and to open up.
See?
We open up about our shit. And the other day I was talking and I was triggered and I was talking about whatever. You saw the clip, right? And I was tired of being told like that I was not black enough
Watch that video too.
and this and that. It was often I told exactly who the perpetrator is. That was me opening up. That was me opening up and being frank and being real with y'all. Couple of y'all dropped me my DM. There's one particular lady that dropped in my DM. I didn't read the whole message, but whatever. The minute I saw that, I switched. I'm a follower, but I gotta say that I'm a bit disappointed in you. First and foremost, I'm not your dad. Okay.
Yeah, that's another thing I can't stand. I'm a follower, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm disappointed. What? What? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm disappointed. You have to understand what the black woman is saying. At that point, that was not the point of my intervention. I told on this channel many, many times that I understood. I do understand. That's why most time I shut the fuck up. But I gotta tell that you motherfuckers are the perpetrators sometimes. When you open up, you're being told to shut the fuck up. So how do
basically, I always, even off the internet, I always talk about the issues that women are going through, especially black women, and I'm always a full supporter. I understand that, but then when it's time, when it's time for me to be like, okay, what about the men? Because there's issues in men. Oh no, I'm disappointed in you. The black women in general. Oh, yeah, basically making your issues. You're basically saying that your issues and what you're going through is more important than mine. And when you create, in the moment that you feel that way, in the moment that you say that out loud, the moment that you perpetuate that into the masses, you wonder why men in general and other people in general stay silent. Because then we feel like, what's the point? What's the point of even trying? Because the issues I go through, which to me and to many people is serious. But why is it that what you go through trumps what I go through? And that's why we needed, especially this year, this is why we needed that Johnny Depp case. We needed Johnny Depp to come out and speak out. Because it helped, it encouraged more of us to speak out. But then the moment we start speaking out, oh, we're misogynist. Oh, we're not thinking about women's rights. Oh, the feminists are not happy with that. golly, 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 bro, golly.
we solve it? And who's the role model? There's a reason why that guy gets so popular. Like he said, it's not some kind of spell. It ain't magic. You have to ask yourself, okay, why?
You know, people say this stuff. Well, we shouldn't platform these people. You know what my personal take is? I want to hear these people. Yeah. When I listen to Andrew, I don't buy into a lot of the stuff he says. I think a lot of that shit's goofy. I think he's kind
The same. A lot of stuff he says is kind of goofy to me. A lot of the stuff he does is goofy to me. You know, I think like any smart, regular, rational man would agree with that. No one is perfect, and no one, and no, we don't lead to. That's because that's That leads to idol. That's idol worship, idolizing. You feel me? But just because that's our opinion does not mean okay, let's go and silence him forever. No, because in a way, it's like we need people like him so we can debate and discuss, so we can have discourse, so we can. Because people talk about protecting the children. Instead of protecting the children, teach the children that you're born in a world that's like this. People with different opinions, different beliefs, different views. There's gonna be people. There's people in this world, and it's the thing. If you believe that At is such this evil bad guy, then go out and publicly show him. And this is a good thing that this is something I thought about the other day. Well, I watched a video the other day. Was how during World War II, many American, during World War II, many American movie theaters, cinemas would air. They would premiere and play speeches from Adolf. They would do that. Of course, with the context of the education, they wouldn't just put that out there and propagate what he was saying. They did that to show the people who this man was, why he said what he was, and the evil that he was. It was to identify, you give your enemies a chance to speak. So you let the audience, the public know who they are. So you can let them differentiate between the good and the bad. If you really believed that AT was Satan himself, banning him and silencing him is not going to do anything but just make more people more hungry to hear from him and go to great lengths. And you just made him bigger than what you wanted him to be. No, rather you keep him here and you send out your people to go debate him, to go discuss with him, and let the world see who he is. Because like I said, silencing him, deplatforming him, don't do anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't really do anything, and that's the point that they're making.
That's me personally, but I want to hear it. You want to know why? Because I'm like, I understand why he is the way that he is, and I'm not with that, and I understand why I'm not. And someone else can look at it and be like, I identify with that. I'm with that. Okay. Then the next step beyond that is we all have a better understanding of what we agree or disagree.
I'm sorry, it's so funny. Like, preach, he's just when he's in his face, he got. It's like I can feel like it's like I can just feel all the words and thoughts coming in his head. Like he just like it's so much he wants to say, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep peaceful, and that's kind of how I've been feeling for so long. Just you know what, I'm just gonna just
Disagree with. And then somebody else who's a much better role model, quote unquote, apparently you guys have him, can come out and show just as much charisma and be just as drawing.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was just saying just a few minutes ago. Keep them on there. Then you bring in the best that you have, the best alternatives, quote unquote, and you have a discussion debate. Who was AT debating and discussing with? Twitch streamers, SQC, Hassan Abi, H3H3, and maybe a few couple of others who their background is video games and and comedy or just social, just don't it hasn't been, they're not well versed into this deep intrinsic discussion, which didn't really do good for neither, because all it did was make AT grow more and made them, I guess, I don't know, it didn't do much. It didn't really do much. It really didn't do much at all. which I should have done. I should have just brought the best of the best. Brought somebody who is well versed in that field or in that environment. Somebody who really truly understands about the idea of red pill movement and the alpha male movement or whatever it is, so you can have a legitimate debating discussion with AT. That's what should have been done. But all you do is just have him get in with these, I'm sorry, illegitimate people to speak with, and then he continues to get bigger and bigger. So you just create all types of sensational accusations and claims, and then go ban him and silence him forever. That that's not how that's not how it's supposed to be done, and it sickens me that this is how it's being done right now. Because I do not agree with you, and I disagree with you, and I do not like you, and because the alleged YouTube social justice warriors, socialist warriors, um, people who never really been well versed into it, and they themselves have disgusting flaws in itself. Um, because they failed to really push what they wanted from, then okay, it's time to just get rid of them. Is this where we at in public discourse today? This is where we at? If this is it, then this is horrible. We will never be able to talk. We will never be able to discuss. We will never be able to do anything. And it's getting worse and worse. That's what I was saying last episode of my video. Um, was I don't know, and I don't honestly now I'm thinking about it, I don't think Andrew Tate is going. I mean, At is going to be what was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. But you're starting to see more and more like this because now even Abba and Preach themselves are being under fire. You have Gideon under fire. You have Sneeko under fire. You got everybody under fire, and they're going to do. They're going to try to push. They're going to try to do the same thing that they did to At. And more people are listening, and more people are going to end up signing with them. And you didn't solve the issue; you just made it even worse to the point where you made both sides even more divided than ever. You didn't bring people together. You didn't bring no one to an understanding. You didn't even bring people to a let's agree to disagree mode. When I discuss, I always be like, hey, let's debate, let's discuss, let's put our evidence at the table, let's duke it out. At the end of the day, if I couldn't sway you, or at the very least, if you couldn't at least learn anything from me, and I didn't do the same for you, then hey, shake hands, let's agree to disagree and be on our way. But no, that's not how they operate because they don't or they can't or both. They don't and they can't operate that way. And now you have, and that's why people are talking about the idea of censorship. Censorship to me is neutral. It could be a neutral thing, but the moment when you start to abuse it and try to use it for your own games, it's not going to work out. You know, as a person who with a religious belief, I believe that in some in some situations, censorship can be a very beautiful thing. It can, because it can help protect. It can be good for society. You know, it can. In some situations, and me personally, and this is my own personal belief, you know, censoring things that are blasphemous. When it comes to religious things, things are very extremely blasphemous. Now, of course, when it comes to comedy or jokes, that's the gray area. When it comes to comedy and jokes, and I love comedy, I love jokes. I've heard it all. I listened to it all. You know, heck, Dave Chappelle, who he identifies as a Muslim, he makes jokes and stuff. He says some things that may be like ooh but hey, I know how to roll the punches and keep it moving. But of course, when you do have some stuff that's just blatant and crazy, it's kind of like you objectively, society as an objective, you can kind of tell when censorship can be okay and can be beneficial. But stuff like this, it really starts to kind of perpetuate the idea that censorship is being abused. It's the abuse of power. It's the abuse of power, control, favoritism, and that's what people understand, you know. And that's the point that I'm kind of been making. Censorship is being abused. There's abuse of power. There's favoritism. There's appeasement, and all of this, there's an agenda that these platforms, these people are trying to maintain, and with all of this, it's not helping the real issue. It's not. And it all boils down to it's not helping the real issue. Let's finish this up.
And then we have all these ideas conflicting.
Earn an associate's degree, RN to
Let them get
BSN
their
degree,
paper.
master's degree.
But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. You want to know why? Because there is no other side. So now they just see this guy getting bigger and bigger with no counter voices, and now they want to ban it to make themselves feel better. You didn't offer a healthy.
Basically, and making yourself feel better does not help. It didn't make me feel better. Even and like I said, I'm not a fan of AT, of course, but just banning in general didn't help me, didn't help them, didn't help nobody, and it most especially did not help people with real true issues. Are you going to provide them alternative solutions? Something? No, I don't think so. Just get over it, cry in the corner, and just die silently. Golly, man. And you guys are supposed to be for everybody. Or you're supposed to, it, it's crazy that it's crazy how YouTube has become. And like I said in the last episode, you know, like I've been, like I opened my YouTube channel back in 2015, and I really didn't start really posting stuff for real back until like 2018. But I always been watching YouTube as far as I can remember, probably as early as 2010s, 2009, just early. And I've been I've been following this platform, particularly YouTube, for over 10 years, and it's just crazy how this platform has changed for some for better, but for a lot just not so good, not for better. I don't want to say completely bad, but it's just so many issues, so many things. And this is going to lead into this is actually going to fall into maybe a video much later, but it talks about the whole core attention situation with the double standards, the double standards that YouTube is taking when it comes to favoritism or even racism. I never like it baffles my mind that this is where we are. This is where YouTube is right now. We a lot of us didn't couldn't guess that YouTube was going to be like this. We thought YouTube was YouTube. It was about express yourself, do whatever you want, say what you want to say. If people don't like it, well, you have the thumbs down button, you have the unsubscribe button, you have the leave me I'm not gonna watch your videos button. Even if you have the report the video and stuff, it will just it's just crazy to the point where it's like YouTube has become so like you and it's crazy and it's double standards because cause you can say because people can swear up and down, but no, YouTube has become family friendly. They're going more, it's like family friendly stuff, like Nickelodeon, Disney, which that itself is a lie. And that itself is a lie. And another video that they made after this, talks about that within the Core Kenshin within that Core Kenshin video that they made. That they would as it's like this. YouTube is like this. As long as it makes a lot of money, we don't care. The thumbnails can be as raunchy, lewd, sexual. We don't care. You know, if like Twitch, hot tub girls. We cool with that. We love that. We cool as long as they're making us money and views. Have fun. The OnlyFans, we like promoting OnlyFans, which all this stuff is corrupting society. We love that. It's making money. But if I do it, if they do it, if certain type of people do it, oh no, you get the ban stick. Why? Why is that?
The solution, right? You didn't say why. You didn't say how we're going to fix the problem. You just said get rid of him, get rid of the figurehead. Now, of course, there's young, impressionable people, and they're going to be swayed, and it's going to cause problems. But I would argue these are problems that we have to deal with. These are problems that we have to deal with as a society and confront this issue rather than just trying to.
We have to, or else it's gonna continue getting worse, and you're gonna have another AT or someone worse than him or someone else gonna do it, or a society collapse, whichever happens first. If you don't want to talk about it, if you don't want to understand it, don't ever come to us. Don't ever come to anyone saying, let's do this if you don't want to hear me out. Because the truth hurts. And I may say some things that you may not like, or you may not want to hear, or what they say that you may not want to hear, or you may not like. The truth can be ugly to some, but sometimes the truth is the truth. And it doesn't matter who it hurts or who it benefits. Simple as that.
Ban it outright and not discuss the problem. Because if we're honest, nobody's trying to talk about it. I've watched a bunch of the news coverage on this dude that was happening on mainstream channels. And you know what they were just saying? Oh, he's a misogynist and he's inappropriate for young people. It's like, well, why are the young people gravitating towards him? What are the issues? How come y'all never spend time discussing that? No? Okay.
I'm saying it's much deeper than that. It's like everybody is so surface level, bro. Everybody's so surface level. Oh, the kids are gravitating towards it. We gotta stop him. Well, okay, but the bigger issue is why? Talk to the kids. Like that teacher who was complaining and saying, "Oh, kids are coming back to school and they're behaving misogynistic towards the girls, and it's because they was watching Andrew Tate. So let's ban Andrew Tate." And my thing is, as a teacher, similar to a parent, sit down with them and be like, okay, what is the stuff that he's saying that you agree with? What is the issues that you have been suffering that you feel like, okay, Andrew Tate gave you the answer. And let's see if we can reconcile that. Let's see if we can get better alternatives. This is how you handle it. Banning and silencing and just thinking, okay, we solved the issue. So little Timmy, he won't be, because little Timmy won't be able to watch his daily dose of AT, then he won't be misogynistic no more. No. Little Timmy's gonna carry on having that mind and feeling, but because everyone has taken him away, it may make him more upset and may make him go out and find something that maybe he wasn't supposed to find in the first place. Unless you deal with the situation head on and dig deeper into it, you're not gonna solve little Timmy. Little Timmy is still gonna carry on that feeling, and he may even be tempted to go on somewhere elsewhere, which is more destructive for him. That could have been your perfect time to turn little Timmy around to a different path. Okay, I see you going off this path. Why did you go off this path? Okay, let me direct you to a different path. Let me show you the benefits to that instead of that. But no, you blocked that path off and you said, okay, if you good, and kept it moving. What little Tim gonna do? He either gonna build his own path. He may get turned off to that path, that other path that you did not show him, and he may just hop over that wall and keep on pushing. I hope you guys see what I'm talking about. It's crazy.
I just noticed a pattern. I notice a pattern. And the reason why I'm telling y'all this, and you watching, whether you hate him or love him, I don't care. This is going to happen 100 times more. And it's going to be amplified. And let me also say this. When you ban somebody, you know what happens?
You just create a hero.
Because people who want information for themselves, like, why?
You just create, you gave Lil Timmy a hero. See, because Lil Timmy just stumbled upon him. Lil Timmy might have been going through some stuff. He might have been having some issues that he haven't really been talking about. And AT gave him the answers that he might like and he gravitated towards. And you took AT away from him, so you made him more thirsty. You didn't you know you took the, you took you took you like you took you took the water away from him. So guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna find somewhere else to drink. Not a good analogy, but that's just kind of what I'm just trying to get at. And he, you didn't give him an alternative. You didn't sit down with him. You didn't really discuss with him. And maybe you did, but not everybody is little Timmy. Not everybody's like little Timmy. There's a lot of grown Timmys out here. There's a lot of grown men out here, my age, older than me, who are going through the same things that little Timmy may have been facing. And you may not be able to do the same thing which you could have done with him. So
Why are you guys keeping me from this guy? Let me hear him. And then they're going to listen to a couple of his clips, right? The more tame ones that are allowed to stay online. And they're like, this guy makes a lot of sense. When he's talking about the fact that a lot of young men are lonely, like, I get that. Why is this guy banned? You guys are going to create somebody who's pretty much unbeatable.
And now,
so there you go.
It's just weird the way.
Hold up. Didn't they just ban Trump?
Yeah.
Didn't they just ban Trump? Ain't he about to win for a second fucking term?
He did try not to make that happen.
But
oh yeah, that's a whole nother discussion I was having with my with one of my relatives the other night of how about this whole little thing that they're talking about. I'm not gonna go into it. That can be something much later in a much different episode. But but the point is, it all is all tying in with that. Everything is connected with a web. It's all connected. Nothing is just popping out. Like, oh no, the rise of massage. All this, no. I'm telling you, people need to start like opening their eyes. People gotta start opening their eyes more because it's gonna continue getting worse. It's gonna continue growing in a bigger problem. And if you don't, if you don't handle it in a more professional, more cohesive manner, you're not gonna solve it. You're not gonna solve it. This is a great example of how not to do things. Because you see how it, like the title says, it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. It's going to backfire pretty soon. I don't know how big it's going to be, but it's going to be.
But I think it's weird how you act is you think this guy, this Andrew Tate guy, is a cancer, right? So he's a symptom of a cancer, really. Mm-hmm. By removing him and not addressing the root, the cancer just comes back stronger. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Perfect analogy. I was trying to make that analogy earlier this video. That's a perfect example.
If you just remove the lump without addressing the root, the cancer comes back stronger. You're not solving the issue. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. If I have a recurring pain, why do you want to address that? You have other functioning body parts in your body. That's what you're doing. That's you. Hmm. That's you. You have other places that are working in your body. You're good. It don't work like that. Mm-hmm. If I have an issue, I have to address the issue. And sometimes to address the issue and to fix the issue, you have to comprehend it. If you don't understand it and you just remove it, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But that's just me.
And if you don't know how to address the issue properly, correctly, then that person is going to go somewhere else for it. And then you try to silence that person for whatever reason, they're going to go someone else. You never solved the issue. You just only made the situation much worse than it could have been.
So I understand why he's banned. I just went on the technical term of it, right? But I understand the fact that that's not how you solve the situation. But I just didn't want to repeat myself from other videos that we did.
Yeah. Well, listen. Let us know what you guys think. Do you guys agree or disagree? We want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think this is a good thing? Do you think it's going to lead to a better world, or do you think it's just more of the same? I want to hear from you.
You heard Abba. Hop on hop on their video, watch the video, like, comment, subscribe to their stuff. I'll be sure you hop on their comment section and discuss about this. Because this is a legit discussion. This is something that you cannot just wipe away as, oh, this is misogyny talk. Let's move on. Because it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. And that's you know, and that's and to kind of feed off what Priest just said. The kind of to go off what Priest just said, that basically that sums up what I was talking about. Is that I understand why AT is banned. I'm not surprised that AT is banned. I'm pretty sure AT himself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people who agree or disagree with him was pretty much preparing his inevitable ban. We was pretty much preparing for that. But the point that we're making is this the right way of solving the issue? It's not. You know, if banning him, hey, it is what it is. It's fine. I'm not spilling. No one's not crying over spilled milk. But you have to give a better alternative to help people, to help men and women with their issues and their problems that they're suffering. Without it, you're just gonna continue to let this problem grow, and you're gonna end up blaming the person that you tried to ban, making him grow, or someone else to pop and take his place. And that simply was the point that I was making. That was simply was the point I was making from last episode. And till now, I'm kind of gonna close this off to the whole censorship situation when it comes to AT and it all. I just want to reiterate that I'm not a fan of AT. I, like I said, a fat majority of the things he said, I did not agree with. And the stuff that he did say that I was in line with, I can get that information from other people who I feel are much better role models than him. But unfortunately, not everybody can. So I understand why some people may see him as the only good role model, because at home or their teachers, the school, or maybe other influencers, they may not be able to get that. So you gotta come up with a better alternative. For me, I'm good. I got mine. I don't need that. You know, and I could talk more about, and I can get more depth with it when it comes to the red pill movement and the alpha male movement and my stance on that. I'm like I said, I'm far removed from all this. It's almost like I feel like I'm like looking. I'm like I'm like outside looking through all this issue through the window, and I'm just kind of like giving my 2 cents from outside, saying, "Hey, you know, there's better ways to doing this. To ban him is cool, but thinking that banning him is gonna solve anything in society, yeah, yeah, you must be puffing on something for real, for real." So that's pretty much all I had today. Golly, it's been an hour and 11 minutes. Can't believe it. So this pretty much sums up the whole point I was making from my first episode to this episode. I won't really get back into it. I won't talk about AT really no more. Not really. But I will get more in depth with the idea of the issues that people are having, relationships and all that. Just get more in depth. Um, um, Late night excursions will be coming back, and it won't get as political and social as this. I'm gonna be a little bit more fun and more cool. But hey, this is my opinion. This is my belief. And like I said, if I offended anyone or anyone got turned off, feel strange about it, hey, speak your piece in the comment section or Album Preach comment section, and and like I said, it's all cool, man. We need to discuss this. We gotta discuss this because closing putting fingers in your ears and saying la 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 la, and not hearing the problem is not gonna solve it. Is you gonna keep on doing it until it grows to the point where then when you decide to, let's fix this. It'll be too late. That being said, this has been a great episode. Um, Sorry, my ranting and all that. Um, like I said, subscribe to Album Preach. Follow them. This was their video, not mine. I don't take no credit. Um, if you like this video, if you like this episode, up close and personal with Irami, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, the whole good. Be sure to comment and let me hear your thoughts. That being said, again, I hope you guys stay safe and take care. And remember, all of you guys, remember, I'm just a man with a microphone. It's not that serious. It isn't that serious, you guys. It doesn't have to be. It can get serious. The more we let this keep going on and keep letting it get bigger and bigger, it will become serious. But if we address it now, it won't be that serious. You guys stay peace. You guys stay safe. Peace out. Turn us on some jams.